Good morning, everybody. What is going on? Hello and welcome. How's everyone today? It is Saturday. So happy Saturday to everyone. The 13th of June, 2020. And we are almost smack dab in the middle of June. And so far, it's been a pretty interesting month for gaming. I've been doing more downtime style content as we're basically right now in the calm before the storm. The calm before the gaming storm. As during the second month of June, we have a ginormous amount of new stuff. 3 big high-profile new releases that are going to be coming out in a very short, or small window, I should say. That's going to keep everyone busy with gaming, no matter what kind of game you're looking at or looking for sure. We got, big PS5 news. We've got The Last of Us 2 reviews out. We've got all this kind of stuff going on. Crazy stuff going on, right? So the gaming world is aflutter with news and information. Everyone is excited for the future of gaming. We've kind of had a couple months of a lull here. Really, I would say April was really busy, and some of May was really busy with game releases, and then things kind of just slowed down as the pandemic affected us and delayed many things that were supposed to be happening. But now we got all kinds of new stuff going on. Some people are mentioning this PC gaming show. I don't care. First of all, I'm not into PC gaming. And secondly, this PC gaming show is something that would happen at E3 every year and would literally nothing would be in it. It would be a waste of everyone's time to watch it. So I'm not watching it. If something comes out of it, great. I'll pay attention to it at that point, but I'm not going to waste time on a day when I need to be streaming to take time out to watch a PC gaming show that no one cares about. Well, that I don't care about. So, what's going on? Hopefully you guys are well and having a good weekend so far. For me, so far, this streaming week has been fun. Covering games. Mostly Sleeping Dogs, let's face it. I've played a lot of Sleeping Dogs so far this week, more than any other game. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit with Fire Emblem. Alright? I've played Fire Emblem one stream this week so far. It's time for another major stream of Fire Emblem. So I've been talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses recently and saying it really, the combat now at this point, I'm getting further into the game, is definitely reminding me of like Final Fantasy Tactics. Although there definitely are a few things in this game that are different than Final Fantasy Tactics. It feels like the natural evolution of that franchise, the grid-based, turn-based combat system. And I think I'm liking the combat more the more that I play it, although admittedly, it's very drawn out and tedious. Like, the combat of a game like this, you could take upwards of 30 plus minutes just to beat, a single fight. And with a game that's, so long and is going to have so many fights, you know what I mean? That's really why I think the game is so damn long. I'm liking that now I am leveling up my characters and they're getting specific classes. I like that a lot. I like that you're gonna have the assassin class because it's gonna be someone who's more ranged and high damage, but then you're gonna have a very heavy magic user. Then you have someone who's like the mage, but there's someone who's a tank or a berserker or whatever. I like that. That was the same with Final Fantasy Tactics, where you would work hard to level up your characters in a certain way, and then that character would be able to be specialized. And that's what I'm definitely liking, how all these characters are... At first, they kind of all started out the same, either melee, ranged, or magic. And now they're kind of diversifying themselves with the play styles that I've been doing, right? So, pretty cool. Pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to more. Now, in between the combat, of course, we've got the social aspect. And I'd like to compare this to, say, Persona, the Persona franchise, where you need to have these social links with the characters, side missions for the characters, in order to have additional things unlocked and the story unfolded and leveled up. And I like that too. I honestly do. Like, I think the game is definitely growing on me. If anything, the slow pace of the game might be the thing that turns a lot of people off. That, I might play a 3.5 hour session today and only do 1 to 2 battles and 1 open world exploration session of the monastery, and that's it, And yeah, that's the pace of the game. That's why the game is like 80 hours long, But I definitely like it so far. I am enjoying it. And I want to say thanks to those of you who are coming out for it and for the streams, because admittedly I know that my mainstream audience is not a JRPG audience. Even though I do have a group of my viewers who love JRPGs and love to just hang out with me no matter what I'm playing, admittedly I know that when it comes to the people who come out to watch me do stuff, it's usually not for JRPGs. Okay? So for those of you who are here for these streams, who are hanging out with me, and who are having fun on the streams, thank you for that. I appreciate that because people really demanded that I play this game. Last year, this game came out, what was it, the summertime? I want to say it came out in like August of 2019. I could be wrong. But at that point, I basically said, I don't know what this game is. I don't really play Fire Emblem games, and I kind of ignored it. And because of that, so many people were upset. They were like, you don't understand. You're missing out on one of the best games of the year. We really need you to play it. And, you know, over the course of the rest of 2019 and, you know, the first quarter of 2020, you guys were clamoring for me to play it. And finally, a Viewer's Choice event happened where you guys nominated and voted on games, right? And you made it happen. You know, you made it happen. So I hope you guys are enjoying the results of your dedication and work to get me to play it. This will be a game that, and undoubtedly, this is going to be a game I'm going to be playing for quite some time. You know I'm going to be playing this probably over the course of the entire summer because it's so long. And that's okay. It's not a game that I feel needs to be rushed. It can be balanced with everything else that I'm doing, you know. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, all right? Now, later tonight, it's going to be my weekly session. And yes, I say that, my weekly session, because now it's going to become a weekly game, only once a week. Animal Crossing. 2 hours of Animal Crossing fun. KK Slider will be on the island tonight, so we'll be able to listen to a few songs. Apparently, there's a new villager/islander on the island to meet. The island itself is being renovated where some things have been moved around, and there's going to be a new stairwell that's being built. So if we can raise some funds tonight to put towards the stairwell, that would be great. Incidentally, my wife is playing it right now. It was funny because she likes to, basically when she wakes up in the morning, yeah, she has a few things she does around the house, and then she likes to maybe play it for a little bit to relax herself in the morning before she has to get ready for her busy day. Like, she'd have work later tonight, and she has to get ready for that. But basically playing Animal Crossing kind of relaxes her in the mornings. So I told her, hey, even though I got to use the Switch all day long, because I'm using Fire Emblem, you know, is the first stream, Animal Crossing is the late stream, go ahead and keep playing. There's no reason for me to grab the Switch now. I have to do pre-stream anyway. So she's still playing right now, and I'm going to, you know, after pre-stream ends, go grab the Switch and hook it up and get ready here for the stream, okay? So, Animal Crossing tonight, we'll get to see what Kat's been working on all week long, okay? Tomorrow, we go back to Sleeping Dogs for another major stream, all right? I have reached and passed the halfway point of Sleeping Dogs. I believe it said that I've done 16 out of 30 story missions, and I believe they were saying also with, like, the cases, I've done more than half the case work in the game. I even got the achievement, you know, done more than 50% of the content of the game. That's good. That's very good. Because I want to get as far into the game as I can, because this coming week is all the new releases, right? So, another major stream of Sleeping Dogs tomorrow. I hope you guys will join me for that. It's been a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. My weekly Morrowind chill stream. At this point, I'm trying to remember exactly where we were. If you remember last week, I was trying to get scrap metal for the Thieves Guild side missions, and I ended up getting lost apparently in the end game area, Ghost Gate, which I didn't even know that was the end game area. I ended up going over there and getting lost and wandering around, and then stumbled upon a Dwemer ruin and got what I needed for the mission. So you guys know how crazy those streams can go. We're going to see what happens tomorrow night. And then on Monday, it's the final major stream of Minecraft. And what I mean by that is for the past month or so, Minecraft kind of slid into the early stream instead of the late streams on Mondays. So we did a lot of extra stuff. If you remember, man, have we had great progress. We had a villager spawner, a resource factory, basically, right, that we built. And then fully reorganized my inventory so I can actually see where everything is and easily access everything. Even had a nice remodel of my house. Well, yesterday, folks, during Actually, I take that back. 2 days ago, basically during the PlayStation event, Papa Vera was in my Minecraft world the entire day, and he told me he did a lot of work, resource gathering, and all kinds of stuff. So when we play on Monday, there's going to be a ton ready to go, and I believe what we're going to do is we're going to work on the mob grinder, which has been on hold now for months, because basically after I built it, we found out it doesn't work in this version of Minecraft. But I guess Papa Vera has worked on it and tweaked it to the point where it looks like it's actually going to work. So Monday should be an interesting day in Minecraft. The last hurrah for the early streams of Minecraft, right? Keep in mind, we still have other stuff to do. The next thing we got to do in Minecraft is the statue of me in the vest. That's going to be interesting to see what Papa Vera comes up with for that. But for the meantime, these last month, it's been really focusing on finishing up projects that we were in the middle of, or getting things that were required, like that resource farm, etc. Very, very important, because then you can get all the resources you need in order to work on future projects, rather than having to sit around and do a whole stream of gathering and shit. I could just use the resource farms to do that stuff, which is great. So great stuff. Monday should be a good, nice, relaxing stream. And then Monday night, the final stream of my consecutive streaming week will be more Fire Emblem Three Houses on the late stream. Okay? I'm off on Tuesday. But when I return on Wednesday, we're going to see what happens here. But supposedly, the Pokemon Sword expansion is supposed to release on Wednesday. I hope it does. And if it does, supposedly there's supposed to be a story expansion included with it. If there is, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be playing, this expansion. And essentially going to a new area. Trying to catch a new Pokemon. Treating it just like I did when I played Pokemon Sword for the first time last year. That should be a fun major stream. And that means probably Wednesday night will be Sleeping Dogs. Okay. Thursday, same thing. It's going to be Pokemon. And then Thursday night will be Fire Emblem. Friday is the premiere of Last of Us 2. And I'd actually like to talk a little bit more about Last of Us 2 on today's pre-stream. Now that more information has been put out there on the internet about it, I kind of want to talk a little bit further about it. The reviews that are coming out, what people are saying and stuff like that. But we'll get to that in a moment. So, Last of Us 2. I'm now actually incredibly intrigued to play this game. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. Because of the information being put out on the internet about this game, I'm really excited to see what the truth of the matter is. For myself. Because you guys know I don't buy into hype, and I also don't buy into what other people say about games. I try to judge them for myself when it's a big AAA release. And in this case, maybe my take on this game will be very different than what other people have to say. I have no idea. All right, we're going to find out. Starting this Friday. So Friday, Last of Us 2. Friday night, my weekly Throwback Street Fighter stream. Saturday, more Last of Us 2. And probably, I would think probably Animal Crossing on Saturday. And then probably Sunday, maybe more Last of Us 2. If not, it's going to be Pokemon, but we'll see. And then Sunday night, probably Morrowind. And then Monday, either Last of Us 2 or Pokemon. And Monday night is completely up in the air. It could be Sleeping Dogs. It could be Fire Emblem. It could be Minecraft. Or maybe I'll even give Minecraft a week off, only because I've been playing so much Minecraft that maybe I'll give it a week off just to do something else that night. I don't know. The thing is, we've got, we do have Battle for Bikini Bottom coming up too. So what I'm almost thinking is maybe this week coming up, maybe I won't play Animal Crossing and Morrowind. Maybe I'll give it a break and instead focus in on everything else, like focus in on Sleeping Dogs, Fire Emblem. You know what I mean? Maybe it's time to give it a week away from the chill stuff, so we can focus in on the new releases and try to, or the ongoing playthroughs, and then go back to the chill stuff when we have more time for it. And here's the thing: no matter what, it's going to be a tough decision, because if I keep the chill stuff, and when I say the chill stuff, I mean Minecraft, Morrowind, Animal Crossing, etc. If I keep that stuff in the rotation, it's going to take significant time away from the new releases. Those are night streams, that's 6-8 hours a week when I could be playing the other games. And if I don't do that, people are going to be disappointed and say, why are you not playing all the stuff that we're clamoring for? Instead, you're focusing in on chill stuff that's like, you can play at any time. Why are you doing this? At the same time, I know there's people who really enjoy the chill content. They like the more relaxing streams. They like the streams that aren't part of an ongoing important narrative playthrough. So it's kind of a weird balance for me. I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to think about it over the course of this week. And of course, I'll be asking you guys, of your opinion, would you prefer to see the chill gameplay streams stay around, which means it's going to take much longer for me to finish game playthroughs? Or would you prefer to see me maybe for a couple weeks say, okay, the chill stuff goes on hiatus, you know, and I focus in on trying to finish up Sleeping Dogs and advancing the other games before, because remember, the next slew of games after this week coming up is actually going to be in middle of July. I mean, it's going to be like 4 games coming out within a 2-week period, including Deadly Premonition 2, Ghost of Tsushima, the Destroy All Humans remake, and Paper Mario Origami King, all in July. All right. In addition, at the end of June, I have special events going on. All right. We've got the 150 Vest Streak Festival, or Vest Fest 2, Vest Harder, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing that once I hit 150 Vest Streaks, if we do. Right now, we're at 130, which is insane. I never thought we'd hit 130, and yet here we are. So yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, my nose itches. Stupid allergies. I'm not sure if we're going to hit 150, but if we do, it's going to be another special event just like I did for 100, okay? And at the very end of this month, we're doing the retrospective marathon. So quick reminder, what a timely time to bring this up. Please keep nominating your favorite moments in my 11-year history as a content creator for the upcoming marathon event. Those are always fun and exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, okay? But I just want to let you guys know, with that's going to take time away from the main gameplay streams. You see, essentially, once the new releases hit this coming week, I'm going to have until roughly the middle of July to try to finish them up, because then that's when the next slew of new releases hit. I definitely think we'll finish Last of Us 2. I don't foresee a problem with that. I think it's going to be the game that I'm focusing on more. The Pokemon expansion, chances are the Pokemon expansion is probably going to be lengthy, and so I'll probably end up playing it as main gameplay streams a couple times, and then it might just graduate to late night streams. Okay? SpongeBob, I really don't know. I don't know how you guys are going to receive it. I don't know how much I'm going to like it. So I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be a major focus or not. We'll have to see. It's definitely a playthrough I'm going to complete because it's another viewer's choice from last year that I promised you guys I would do. So I guess we'll have to see how it goes. And the good news is, after tomorrow and maybe 1 or 2 other streams, I'll be near the end of Sleeping Dogs. That's good. I'll be able to wrap that up, and it won't be a lingering playthrough, right, that I won't be able to finish. I'll be able to focus in on it and finish that off, okay? So I guess we're going to see. But you see my point. There's so much going on. It's going to be a tough decision. Do I keep the chill streams or not? Do I retire Animal Crossing and Morrowind and Minecraft for a couple of weeks so we can focus in on the new stuff and then bring them back when there's ample time? Because, by the way, I don't want to not play them. I'm enjoying them. I enjoy hanging out in Animal Crossing with you guys once a week, twice a week. Minecraft is always fun, but, you know, when you get so many things coming out at once, I've got to make an executive decision, as they say. All right? So I'll think about it. And please, by all means, give me your feedback. All right, guys? Okay. So that's obviously the schedule coming up. Outside of that, you know, streams-wise, anything, I don't really think there's much else to talk about. I think, you know, everything's going well. I've been having tons of fun. You guys are having tons of fun. The Vest Streak continues, which is crazy when you think about it. So thank you guys for the support. The one real topic that I want to bring up and talk about a little bit on the pre-stream today is Last of Us 2. Now, keep in mind, I did not receive an insanely early review copy of The Last of Us 2 like most other people did. I say most other people because there's, like, people all over the internet who are talking about this and apparently got early review copies of it, including people who have, like, 1/10 of the following of me. But I'm not like that. As you guys know, I don't care. I don't go out. I don't try to get early review copies for anything. Instead, I believe firmly that early review copies are counterproductive, that they just create artificial hype around games. People who get these early review copies, I hate to say it, tend to over-exaggerate in order to either get drama views or to hype up a game so they think that they'll get future review copies from that company. I don't believe in the practice. In the 1990s, this practice was important because everyone was writing for a game magazine who was a games journalist, and those magazines were physical. So you had to play the game, review the game, write down that review, submit it, have it published in a physical magazine, have the magazine shipped to stores to time with the release of the game so people could buy the magazine and know if the game was worth playing. That's a 20-year outdated model. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever that these early reviews need to exist anymore, in my opinion. And you can completely disagree, and that's okay. But that's my opinion. They don't need to exist. In my opinion, the ideal state of gaming in the modern day would be that everyone gets the game on release day. Maybe some people get it for free because they're gaming journalists, and some people get it because they buy it like normal people like you and me. And we all play it at once. Okay? We all play the game at once. No one gets advanced special treatment. Okay? And then, if you're someone who's on the fence about a game, you wait. You withstand the urge to give into the hype and buy the game on release day. You wait a day or two. And then in a day or two, guess what? Thousands of people will be posting up their opinions all over the internet about that game. Full-fledged video reviews, full playthroughs. You'll be able to find out anything you want to know about that game. And then you can make an educated judgment on whether or not you want to buy it. You don't need to know a week before a game comes out if it's good. You don't. Because all that does is creates this weird atmosphere of either I want to hate on the game to get cheap drama views, or I want to love the game because that way I continue to get, products, advanced products, and advanced special treatment from these game publishers. It's one or the other. And I don't support the practice whatsoever. Okay? Now, you can completely disagree with me, and that's okay if you do. But in all my arguments over the years about this, no one's really presented me an intelligible argument of why we still need to give out early copies besides, oh, that's just how business works and building up the hype works. Bullshit. And what it does is it creates a dishonest atmosphere. And I'll give you a perfect case in point example right now. The Last of Us 2. All right. We all are aware that 2 months ago, there were apparently, giant story leaks on the internet about this game. Things that if you knew about the plot of the game could potentially spoil and ruin the entire game for you. And a lot of people heard them and said, I'm one of them. You know, I didn't mean to, but it was all over Twitter and I read some, you gotta be kidding me. This sucks. If this is actually true about the game, this is something I didn't want to know. This potentially could ruin the whole plot of the game for me because I know stuff ahead of time I don't want to. Okay? So, when that happened, obviously, the entire internet went nuts. Some people were like, this is bullshit. How could this be that the whole game's ruined? This is one of the more hyped games of the year. Other people were like, well, wow, these plot points that are being spoiled are terrible, and now I hate the game. I'm not going to play it. By reports, and I don't know if you can even believe reports, apparently pre-orders of the game were not affected whatsoever, that apparently the pre-orders are quite good. Naughty Dog is happy with the pre-orders they've gotten for Last of Us 2, and it looks like the game is on pace to being a huge bestseller. Okay? For me, I've been kind of, at first, the leaks kind of really pissed me off. They really did, and it's not because of the fact that I didn't like the plot, it's that I knew the plot ahead of time. And I'm like, that sucks. This game is supposed to be heavily narrative. You remember Last of Us 1 was one of the best written games I'd ever played. It really felt like an interactive movie. You cared about the characters. You didn't know what was going to happen. There were a bunch of twists and stuff in there that were very interesting and fun. But at the same time, very dramatic, very, very emotionally. It was an emotional roller coaster, that game, quite honestly. And the ending, oh God. The ending is like, Jesus, who knew that was going to happen? And, you know, where do we go from here? I can't wait for the sequel. Like, with the moment the game ends, you're like, that's it. I can't wait. I want more. Right? That's how I was when Last of Us 1 ended. And now to have critical plot points spoiled, that's what pissed me off. It's not the plot points themselves. It's that I knew the plot points early. Okay? So anyway, 2 months. We all had to sit on this and wait. And now the reviews have come out. All right? The early reviews. By the way, none of these early reviews are able to spoil the game. There's a review embargo, meaning you can review the game, but you can't give out any plot points or anything like that. The vast majority of people who have reviewed this game are giving it like perfect scores, 10 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10, 90 out of 100. You know, nearly flawless, perfect game. Some of the things I've seen, it's the most emotional game you'll ever play. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. You'll feel for the characters. It's the best written game ever made. If you really like great, gripping, dramatic stories, this is the game for you. By the way, that's not to say that the gameplay is bad, because most people are saying the gameplay is quite good as well. But really, it's the fact that this is one of the best gaming narratives ever made. Okay? That's what the reviewers are kind of saying as a consensus. Now, do you believe them? Is the question. Because as I just said, these are people who got early review copies. These are people who want to be able to continue to be relevant. All right? You have to understand that. Games journalism is at an all-time low for relevance. Because we have so many people out there who are independents, who make independent game reviews, right? And people are starting to trust them more than the major outlets. So we're at a time where we really need a big game to come that everyone says is a great game. We're at a time where, you know, we've had dead months with no games. The pandemic has hit, and everyone's fucked up in the head about what's going on in the real world. We need a game that's going to unify us as gamers, going to say, damn, that was the best game ever. And it seems like that's what all the reviewers are saying. As if on cue, right? With what we need, here it is, right? The game to deliver us from evil. Okay, it's ridiculous some of the stuff that these people are saying in their reviews, how much they're kissing this game's ass. All right. So as everything, I take everything with a grain of salt. The way I see it is, when so many people are saying the game is good, obviously the game doesn't suck. Obviously, the gameplay mechanics are going to be gripping and fun. Obviously, the plot's probably going to be very interesting and make you grip you and feel, you want to know what's going to happen in the game. You want to keep going. But does that mean it's going to be the best game ever? 10 out of 10? Not necessarily. All right? And I'm sorry, but I hate to burst the bubble of the gaming media, but they've done this before, and they're going to do it again, where for various reasons they completely overhype a game, and it's not as good as they say it is, in my opinion. And again, I want to preface everything that I say here with my opinion, because this is my opinion. It's not fact. In the past, when I used to talk about shit like this, I'd be like, oh, it's fact. It's not. It's my opinion. All right? So anyway, with all this going on, there's been a couple people, I believe it was 2 different people, who aren't giant, well-known reviewers. These are not people who work for IGN or whatever. These are, independent content creators who stepped up to the plate and given their honest take, and their take's very different. Their take is as follows. The gameplay is good, but the plot sucks. We don't like the plot. And from the consensus that I've seen, some people are saying some of the spoilers that have been out there for the game are 100% true. Some of the spoilers that have been out there for the game are wrong. And in reality, a lot of the spoilers that people have heard are misinformation that's out of context to the game. All right? Now, I'm not going to spoil it all, but if you remember the first game, first Last of Us, there were a few times during the plot where it looked like certain things were going to happen, some really gruesome things, and then things took a twist and went a different direction. Okay? So I'm just saying, knowing that was how the first game was, I think that when we got these spoilers, we kind of should have understood maybe they're not 100% at face value true for what we're being told. Okay? So, that being said, yeah, so knowing that some of the plot spoilers were true and some aren't, but that some maybe are out of context, at least that gives me, like, some hope. I'm like, you know what? Okay. Maybe, even though I was spoiled, it's not going to be as bad as the spoiler said. Maybe that's a part of the game that's not 100% true. You know what I mean? Like, they do this kind of stuff all the time, where it's a bait and switch and stuff. So we'll see, I guess, when the game comes out next week. All right? But the people who criticized the game heavily and didn't like it, they're like, there's nothing wrong with the gameplay. That the gameplay elements have advanced. It's basically Last of Us 1 plus new gameplay elements that makes the gameplay better. But in reality, the focus of the game is the plot. And if you end up not liking the plot, for whatever reason, you're not going to like the game. And that's, in my opinion, that's a fair criticism. Last of Us 1, if you ended up not liking the characters, if you thought the plot was too overdramatic and they were really doing they were purposely building you up to like characters just to fuck you over at the end, you know what I mean? Then maybe you hated the game. A lot of people actually say they feel The Last of Us 1 is a very overrated game. I tend to disagree. I say that I think the game, I do think that the game, was great. It was game of the year for me when I played it, and I still stick to my guns, even though, yeah, the more you play Last of Us 1, it's not as good. The first time through, as you're experiencing that story for the first time, is definitely the best. And then when you play it multiple times, like, all right, it's not as good the second time, the third time, because it really is a lot about the plot. All right? So, I can understand. I can definitely understand when someone says, well, if you're not going to like the plot, you're not going to like the game. I get that. All right? So I'm hoping that the plot grips me, the plot, keeps me hooked, and I get those vibes back from Last of Us 1, that this really feels like it's a work of art. This isn't just a video game. This isn't an interactive movie. This is a work of art. This is the epitome of what you can do with good writing and storytelling, but also good gameplay mechanics. You combine all of that into something that you're like, wow. Remember when Last of Us 1 came out? We really felt it was the best game to end that console generation, because it really was at the very tail end of the PS3's life cycle. Like, damn, the graphics were outstanding. The writing was so good. You know what I mean? And what I'm hoping is that that's what happens with Last of Us 2. That it's a game that grips us and says, this is it, this is the swan song for the PS4, because the PS5 is right around the corner. Here's the best game for it. Just enjoy. And at a time like this, where we've had a worldwide pandemic, and we've had lockdown for months, and so many games got delayed, this game got delayed, we need this. As gamers, we need this. Okay? So, that's what I'm hoping for. And I know maybe I'm going in with too high hopes. Maybe I'm going in with unrealistic expectations, but I'm basically just directly comparing it to what the last game was for me, So I guess we're going to see what happens this coming Friday when I start playing it. But, this whole situation of, again, everyone gets an early copy, everyone kisses the game's fucking ass, people's lips so far up Naughty Dog's fucking sphincter hole. It's ridiculous. Like, you guys know me. I love video games, and even my game of the year picks, I criticize for things that can be better. You guys know that. Never do I say a game is flawless. There's always room for improvement, in my opinion. So to give a game a 10 out of a 10 is like, if I ever gave a game a 10 out of 10, I would feel that game was the best it could possibly be. I don't think there was anything that could have done better for that game to be a better experience. You know what I mean? And will I ever even feel that way about a game? I don't know. Every game I've ever played, I felt, all right, I really love this game, but this could have been better, this could have been better. So 9.5 out of 10 or whatever, right? So, to say 10 out of 10, best game ever. I'm sorry, I have to be skeptical and say, it sounds to me like you guys are just mad because there haven't been many games out that have been good, and the games that have come out, let's be honest, the games that have come out this year have been underwhelming. I'm sorry, but Doom Eternal is not 10 out of 10 material. It's a great game, but it's just not. It had lots of room for improvement, in my opinion. Amongst all the other, I don't want to sit here and try to go through a laundry list of games that I've played, but pretty much every game this year so far, I've said I don't even look at any games that have come out in 2020 yet and say that's game of the year. I haven't seen a single game like that yet. So this maybe is the first outstanding game of 2020, 10 out of 10. That's not how it works. If you're honest as a game journalist, you can't do that. But this is the thing. Because it's games, they think they can get away with this shit. Let's just say everything's perfect. Whatever you say. So, for me, I'm sorry, but, I look at this very skeptically. I'm going into Last of Us 2 with very high expectations. I'm hoping the game is great, and I'm hoping it's on par with what Last of Us 1 was for me at the end of the last console gen. At the same time, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, 90 out of 100. And then two people are like, well, we're being honest, we didn't like it because the plot kind of sucked for us. You know, like just the fact that that exists is like, all right. I get the feeling this is going to be an interesting ride for us to be experiencing. So actually, my whole attitude about the game's flipped, and here's why. In April, my attitude was, man, these spoilers came out. This ruined everything. Now, like a game that's based on narrative, who cares? Maybe I won't even play it. But now, my interest has been piqued. It has. Because I want to know the truth about this game and its plot. I want to know, does this game live up to the expectations of Last of Us 1? And I want to know if all these gaming journalists giving it 10 out of 10 are fucking smoking the hype ganj just so that they could continue to get promotional copies from Sony and Naughty Dog. I'm serious, because I'm not going to lie. I strongly feel that this is a case where, because the spoilers came out in April, that probably Sony and Naughty Dog contacted these gaming journalists and said, please, you know, don't destroy our game because of the spoilers. And because of that, I don't know, I hate to say it, but I really get the feeling there's something going on behind the scenes here. I could be wrong. This is my opinion and my feeling, not based on any fact. I strongly feel that this is a case where a major AAA game that was supposed to be a bestseller and Game of the Year potential was getting destroyed online because of the leaks. And behind the scenes, we got some shady shit between Sony and these game journalists saying, you know, this is a situation that's unique. We're in a pandemic. We really need to have this be good and blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know, but I'm just saying, if ever there was going to be a time for that, now would be the time. It's not based on any facts or any evidence. I'm saying that's my vibe. I could be completely wrong, and, you know, it is what it is. Let's see, again, this could be an insanely good game. We're going to find out when I start playing it on Friday. Together. Live on every stream, right? Fair enough? Okay. That's my feelings. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Let's get to shoutouts. Actually, let me turn on my air conditioner because it is now getting very stuffy in this office, so I want to cool it down a bit. So let's get to shoutouts. We start off today with Blanca Balls, who took me $3. First tip of the day. Let's get Blanca Balls on the leaderboard, and then we'll read what they had to say. Okay. Okay, so Blanca Balls, getting the tip started today, asks the following. He says, I've watched you play Street Fighter now for 10 years. In Super Turbo, you hardly use the following moves: Chun-Li's spinning bird kick, DJ's machine gun punch, Dalsim's upward yoga flames, and Vega's super move. Is there a reason why? I'll try to answer. Chun-Li's spinning bird kick, also known as the upside down kick, because she turns upside down and defies gravity when she does it. The reason I don't use it is because you can't combo it. It has some pretty wonky properties where it's not dependable how it hits. And if you do not hit someone with it, you're wide open to get counter hit. Now, can you get like a giant combo? No, actually. Because the move had these weird properties where you're floating off the ground. If you get hit, you basically float out of it and land, so you can't be comboed. It's just a very weird and wonky move. It's not consistent like her other moves. It's always been like that, by the way. If you look back when they added it into the game in Hyper Fighting, which was the third version of Street Fighter 2, through all the games, it's always been a weird move that's a very not consistent. A lot of people use it because it has a weird hitbox and invincibility frames, meaning when you do it, you can get through a lot of other moves that normally would hit you. You just like pass right through them. But I don't know. For me, it's not. I don't like using inconsistent moves, and that's why I don't use it. Some people do at high levels. I don't. DJ's machine gun punch. It's kind of the same thing. The machine gun punch sucks ass because it only hits when you're way up close. You have to be standing directly next to the opponent for it to hit. It's a multiple hit move, but sometimes even when you're standing next to the opponent, it misses. It'll hit twice and then whiff the third hit, and you don't finish a combo, which is very frustrating if you need it to work in a match. It has a unique invincibility frame at startup, meaning if someone's gonna hit you with something, you can actually like trade or pass through what they're doing by doing this move. Okay? But it's really only effective during a crossover combo, but he has other combos that are more consistent. So that's why I use the other combos and not that. Okay? Dhalsim's Upward Flame. Very simple. There's 2 reasons I don't use it. Number 1, it's because I forget about it, because I'm not good with Dhalsim. I almost never use the Upward Flame because I forget that he has it, because I'm not a high-level player with Dhalsim. Okay? But in addition, it's slow. You have to basically, to hit someone with the Upward Flame, you have to guess that they're going to jump. You can't do it on reaction because the move comes out so slowly. Most characters with good jump-ins will stuff it because they're faster than the animation for the Upward Flame. Okay? Hold on 1 second because I'm about to sneeze. Let me grab a tissue. I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I blew my nose before I sneezed. Stupid allergies. Okay. So yeah, Dhalsim's Upward Yoga Flame comes out too slow to really do on reaction. If you're good and you can guess what your opponent's going to do, great. It does tons of damage. But some of his other anti-air strategies are more effective. And the final one, Vega's Super. Now, this one's a no-brainer. Vega's one of the best characters in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. He's one of the fastest. His wall dive is an incredibly effective move if you time it properly and you space it properly. But his super move is not the normal wall dive. The regular wall dive, you have 2 options. You can either attack with your claws, which has incredibly wide range and is very useful, or if you're good enough, you can try to position yourself near the opponent for an aerial backdrop. I believe it's called the Azuna drop, and it does tons of damage. But it's very hard to pull off, because if anyone's in the air and they press a button, they stuff it. Okay? Most people, when they wall dive with Vega, just do the attack. Okay? Because they know it's more consistent. At worst, it'll trade. Okay? The super only is the backdrop, meaning you have to put yourself in a super advantageous position somehow, position yourself to do aerial grab to do it. It's not consistent. When you have a super meter, most people will kind of expect that Vega's going to do it, or to look for it, and stuff it pretty easily, you know. It's very rare when you can get into a situation where you can actually catch the super. If you do, either you're really good or your opponent sucks. It's one or the other. So I never use it because the regular wall drop, 10 times out of 10, is a much more effective move to use, and that's why I use it, okay? Lies of Her Soul, ladies and gentlemen, tipped me $50. Well, thank you so much, Lies of Her Soul. That is, first of all, insanely generous. Not even any gameplay yet on the stream, and to tip me that much is very, very helpful, obviously, to maintain the vest streak. So thank you so much, Lies of Her Soul. Wow, we're up to $53 in tips, and we haven't even started yet, so thank you for that. All right, so, what the hell? Here we go again. Lies of Her Soul says the following. For being the best gamer, I honestly don't know anyone who's beaten all of the Soulsborne games, is great at fighting games, JRPGs, and frustrating N64 platformers. Well, personally, I don't know that many other gamers, but I do know Maximilian plays the Soulsborne games too. He's great at fighting games. Usually not the ones I'm great at. He's actually better at different ones. Like, he's good at the modern versus games and stuff. I think he was pretty good at Dragon Ball Fighters. I'm better at the old school, while he's better at kind of the more versus games. I don't know if he plays JRPGs, actually. And I don't know if he plays N64 platformers, but I would say he's kind of the closest. Is he plays a variety of games and has a variety fan base, right? And that's good. I've praised him over the years because he puts out a variety of content and realized he couldn't just keep doing fighting games. Unlike a lot of other guys who are just fighting games, and they have to basically roll with the highs and lows of fighting games. Max has diversified himself to the point where he doesn't have to worry about that anymore, right? And that's a good thing. So, I would say Max is probably close to what I do. But as for sheer variety, I mean, yeah, take a look at what I do on a weekly basis, right? Sheer variety, I probably am one of the more diversified gamers. And you're right, being able to play more difficult games, but also easier games, competitive games. I mean, that's what I kind of pride myself on. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But at least every day when you watch my stuff, you know I'm doing something different. There's something for everyone here, right? So thank you. I appreciate your compliment. Life's for soul. But I don't necessarily think I'm the best gamer out there, nor am I the biggest variety gamer. I just think that it's unique what I did. Okay? Lays Daibo did a 100-bit cheer and says, I thought I'd give you an update on my Ring Fit adventure. I'm on day 22. I've done over 20 hours of exercise total. I'm rocking level 158, 158. You really should give it a shot. No. But thanks for the update. Lucifer Soul did a 500-bit cheer as well. That now makes Lucifer Soul the top cheerer and the top tipper of the day. So let's get Lucifer Soul up there on the leaderboard. Oops. Thank you for that. He says, when did you decide to become the legendary Dark Side Phil? When you were growing up? No. I've already told the story a million times. As I got into the competitive Street Fighter community, I realized no one was going by their real names. Everyone had an online persona. And at one point, I was Whoa Moses, because that was the only screen name I could get when trying to log into AOL for the first time. Then I ended up being like Punisher. But I really wanted something that was going to be, it was going to be like catchy. And at the time, I was heavily into wrestling. And RVD, Rob Van Dam. Wow, his name is 3 letters. That's catchy. I want something that's catchy like that too. So eventually I went with something Dark Side Phil, DSP, see? And then it caught on like wildfire. That's what everyone called me from then on. So there you, even if I tried to not be DSP for the rest of my life, I would still be called DSP. So there you go. Alexander Rossi cheered and said, do you know these game journalists are full of shit? The game is confirmed to have SJW themes. Of course, the reviewers will massively inflate the scores. Same thing happened with Gone Home Walking Simulator in 2013. So here we go. Listen, as I've said, I 100% believe that there's going to be that element in it. At the same time, I am 100% going to play the game at face value and judge it fairly. You guys know me. I'm not going to go in and prejudge the game because it has SJW overtones, because it has this or that. I just want to play the game and enjoy it and be honest with all of you and let you know what I think about it. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat. If I feel that there's something that needs to be criticized, I'm going to criticize it. You know? But I'm also going to say if the game's really good or not. You know, that's why I'm excited about this game, because we've got people who are very critical of these reviews coming out, especially those who are looking at the very few negative reviews and saying, if what people are saying in the negative reviews are true, then how could the rest of the reviews be true? That's why I'm excited to play the game myself. And we're going to find out together this coming Friday. Hype. Okay. Lucifer Soul cheered. He says, The Last of Us was amazing for its time, but looking back, it's like these amazing indie story-driven games. It's like I said, when I played The Last of Us 1 the very first time, this was the very end, the tail end of the life cycle of the PlayStation 3. The graphics were great. The plot sucked me in. The gameplay, even though it was stealth-based, I still liked the gameplay because it was interesting. It was different. It was a different take. It wasn't like Uncharted where it was all third-person cover-based shooting. Even though, admittedly, there was a lot of that in there. I loved the game. It just did. Now, when I replayed it, what was it, a year and a half later on PS4? I didn't like it as much. You know? I thought it was still good, but I was like, man, once you know the plot, that's it. Like, I kind of felt like it's not as good. I already know what's going to happen, right? So, I guess we're going to see, again, I'm going to see what happens with the sequel, but I feel that The Last of Us 1 was one of those games the first time through, because it's the first time you're experiencing that story, you're caring for those characters, you don't know what's going to happen at the end. It's a really unique experience. When you play it a second time, it just doesn't give you that vibe anymore, you know. DJ CTE cheered and says, a lot of game reviewers have already said they've been warned by Sony before getting the review code of Last of Us 2 not to talk about certain things, and some of those things are flaws that would have made the reviews more critical. It's probably the case for everyone. Now, here's the thing. All right? Here's the thing about that. To my knowledge, what they were told not to talk about were unique gameplay mechanics added to the game for the first time that no one knows are in the game. So they don't, that's a huge spoiler, right? Oh, there's this new part of the game you're not aware of. Obviously, that would spoil. Or plot elements that are insanely critical to the development of the plot that would spoil the plot. Those are the two things they were told they can't talk about, including, I guess what they're saying is the second half of the game no one really knows anything about yet who hasn't played it. That's the thing. Like, I guess they're saying the spoilers really only apply to the first half of the game. So, I guess we'll see, okay? But I understand why Sony would want that. At the same time, here's the thing. Here's what gets me. We're going to give you an advanced copy of the game, and we're outright telling you can't talk about these elements. Okay, great. But if I feel that they're a negative, I'm not going to erase them from my review. Let's say, for example, there's a new gameplay element in Last of Us 2 none of us are aware of. It's a critical gameplay element for the second half of the game. All right? But it sucks. Does that mean because I was told by Sony I can't talk about that gameplay element, the game's a 10 out of 10, we ignore it? No. Here's what you do. You say, here's what I can review. By the way, the game's a 7 out of 10. Why? Because there's stuff in this game that I can't talk about because of the review embargo that sucks. 7 out of 10. And then everyone has to wait and see and play for themselves to see what those elements are. But at least it's out there and you're being honest. Right? Not, oh, the game's amazing for the parts I can talk about, 10 out of 10. That's what should have happened. All right? But that's not what happened. Everyone's giving it 10 out of 10. So even if you are part of the games media, you've been told by Sony you can't talk about certain elements, and those are negative elements of the game, you can still review it honestly. You know, you can. But again, it does seem to me like this is a situation where maybe some funny business is going on. I don't know. But well, again, we'll find out together starting this Friday. Okay? Lego Mario tipped me $1. He says, I know you don't watch other streamers or YouTubers. Have you ever heard of Metal Jesus Rocks on YouTube? He's a gamer from Seattle who talks about classic games and consoles. You like his content? Nope. Never heard of him. Don't know anything about it. Thanks for the $1 tip. Blanca Balls tipped me $1.30. He said, what was Combo Fiend's role with Capcom? Did he ask players for feedback to improve the game? To my knowledge, he was the community liaison. What that means is basically he was the guy who went back and forth between the Street Fighter community and Capcom to relay information. So, there's a new game coming out. He would be the one to demo it, to invite players to special events to play it and preview it, to get feedback about that game, to get people to hype that game, etc. He was the one who did all that stuff. He was the PR guy, you know. Yes, it would have been his role to take feedback from the community and give it back to Capcom directly for them to say, okay, this is good, this is bad, this needs to be improved, etc. That's my knowledge. Now, I wasn't really involved at that time when Combo Fiend took on that role. I wasn't really in that I wasn't in the competitive community. I don't know how much of an active role he took interacting between common gamers, the competitive gamers, what feedback was actually, weighed and accepted and what wasn't. I have no idea. I wasn't part of it, I was playing games at that time for YouTube exclusively. Really didn't care about competitive gaming at any kind of a level. And, I was putting out a ton of videos. And it was funny because even though I was one of the people known on YouTube for Capcom fighting games, I wasn't involved with any of the shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't considered part of the FGC. I wasn't involved with any of that. So I was I never talked to Combo Fiend directly, even though I was putting out videos that were directly promoting Capcom fighting games and giving them an insane amount of exposure. I mean, I feel my coverage of games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix and Street Fighter 4, when those games were at the height of their popularity, probably sold a ton of copies of those games. People told me back in the day, those early 2009, 2010, the videos I put out of Street Fighter 4, thousands of people were buying the games and playing it because seeing someone like me, who was not a high-level competitive player, but could still enjoy the game, could still have fun with these characters online. The series like Dan Madness, Ryu Madness, were putting butts in seats. They wanted to not only watch me play, but then they wanted to play the game for themselves, right? It was just, and the truth of the matter is, it wasn't intentional. Like, when I did that stuff, it wasn't like I was trying to shill for Capcom. I just like playing fighting games, you know? I think the passion came through in those videos, that even though I raged and I complained and yada yada, like everyone likes to criticize, obviously I wouldn't have kept going if I felt that I didn't like those games. You know what I mean? When I finally didn't like them, I stopped playing them. You know, when we finally got to the 4th iteration of Street Fighter 4 that I didn't give a fuck about, I barely played it and didn't care anymore, right? And that's when those series went away. But I don't know, because Combo Fiend didn't ever talk to me, never contacted me, didn't give a shit about me. He basically did exactly what always happens in the Street Fighter community. An elitist group forms. Oh, these are the top known players, man. And these are the guys who everyone cares about, man. And they're the ones who are hip and in, while everyone else is an outsider. I was always an outsider. I was never considered the top echelon of popular Street Fighter player, ever. I was always the guy who sat on the outside and had to work my ass off to ever do anything, because I didn't have support, because I wasn't in that elitist group. All right? So, you know, that's just how it always was with me. And I'm used to that. I'm used to being that, because that's how it was back in the day. Throughout the entire 2000s, when I was part of the competitive community, I was always the outsider guy. So was I shocked when here I am, one of the guys heavily promoting Street Fighter 4 and selling copies, and no one ever contacts me about anything? No, I'm not surprised at all. Zero surprise. Okay? I didn't give a fuck either. All I cared about was having fun with games and putting out my own content. People loved what I did, so why do I care if I had mainstream appeal from the community manager of Capcom or not? I didn't give a fuck, all right? But that would have been Combo Fiend's job, to go out to the community and get feedback from the people who are playing the games and give that back to Capcom. How good of a job he did or didn't do, I have no clue, because I wasn't part of that. I was doing my own thing on YouTube, so I can't attest to it. Okay? Ace did a 50-bit cheer. He says, the thing that cracks me up nowadays is how quick they judge spoilers, which barely cover the game, and immediately criticize it. Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. Oh, these goddamn allergies. Well, now my sinuses are going to fill up again. God damn it. All right, so let's try this again. The part that cracks me up about people nowadays is how quick they judge spoilers, which barely cover the game, and immediately criticize it. The amount of context they're missing is crazy, and those people are crazier. Just play the game for yourselves and then judge it. I agree. The thing that gets me is, if you even played The Last of Us 1, you know that in the story of that game, there's multiple times where there's bait and switch, where you think one thing's going to happen, the game's leading you to believe it, and then it doesn't, or something you never expected happened out of nowhere. So even knowing story spoilers, you don't know at what point in the story they take place. You don't know if they stick. You know what I mean? Like, is it very frustrating to have story spoilers out there? Absolutely. But to me, that doesn't 100% kill the game. Siesta, Jan, Hugo. Resubscribe for 7 months. Thank you very much for the resub. Shabos Goy tipped me $1. It says, what made you come up with Whoa Moses when signing up for AOL? Are you Jewish? Moses is like the equivalent of Jesus in the Jewish faith. I honestly have no idea. I remember sitting there. I tried variations of like Phil. I tried all names I wanted were taken. I said, fuck this. I'm so tired, because I remember sitting there. I'm not even kidding. When I first signed up for AOL, it was like 45 minutes of trying out names, and I couldn't get one. And I was like, fuck this. I just typed in something random, and it worked. Whoa, Moses. It works. I'm like, great. So there's really nothing much else to it. It was just, I was so frustrated that I couldn't get a screen name to work. I just typed in the most stupid random thing ever, and there you go. Boom. It worked. So there you go. Are you surprised Whoa Moses was not taken? Of course, now Whoa Moses is probably taken everywhere, because people know that used to be my name. Lucifer Soul cheered and said, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't you asked to be in some game reality show, but you declined the offer and they picked Ego Raptor instead? I have no idea. I was asked to be on Ultimate Gamer. By one of the producers. And basically I thought about it, and I was, this was way back in the day. Okay, this is when I was at the height of my YouTube popularity. And I looked into the show, and I was like, I don't know, I think I want to do this. Because, number one, I was so busy with the stuff that I was doing. I was having so much fun putting out videos on a daily basis, covering games for you guys, that to take time away from that was like, if I was going to be on a reality show, I'd probably have to be away for like a week or more to film this thing. And I was like, even though I could obviously, I'd be under an NDA, I wouldn't be able to talk about it until the show aired or whatever. I was basically like, what would be the realistic benefit of doing it? And in reality, I didn't see any. I was already popular as hell on YouTube. I was already bringing in views, making money. I was like, what is the purpose of doing this? Is for someone who needs popularity. When you looked at, I'm sorry, one of the biggest reality shows back in the day was The Apprentice. Yes, Donald Trump's reality show. And when you watch The Apprentice, especially the Celebrity Apprentice, which essentially is what the Ultimate Gamer was, taking known gamers from the internet and putting them into an elimination reality show, right? Do you see the top already popular celebrities on the Celebrity Apprentice? Fuck no. You see people whose careers have waned, people who, honestly, no one really talks about or remembers anymore. That's who you get on Celebrity Apprentice, because they're trying to rejuvenate their careers, right? So I looked at Ultimate Gamer. Like, why do I need to go on this? I'm at the height of my popularity now, right? So why on earth would I want to be on this show? And that's kind of the attitude I took. And then, of course, I looked into it. I was like, I guarantee you this show is horse shit. It's probably scripted garbage. It's not a legit competition. Instead, they're gonna have certain people win, certain people lose for dramatic effect, etc., etc. And again, I don't need the popularity, so why am I gonna do it? Okay? So I turned it down. I said, no, I'm not interested. Now, I don't know if Ego Raptor was on the show. I know Justin Wong was. And is it true, because this is what I heard, Justin Wong lost the fighting game episode. I just wanted you to think about that. Justin Wong lost the fighting game episode. What? I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. So, if anything, that's like, who the fuck, you know what I mean? That's totally not legit, obviously. So, that's all I have to say. That sounds really stupid to me. And I'm glad I didn't do it. Because let's face it, who talks about Ultimate Gamer? Who talks about any, remember there was like a 2-3 year span where they were trying to make all these gaming reality shows? Did anything ever come of any of those? Fuck no. It would have been a complete waste of time. Just another thing, right? It would have been just another thing to bring up and say this is something stupid Phil did or something, right? So I'm glad I didn't do it. Mitch Dyer tipped me $1. Atlas Games really served you good. Go back and play Persona 3 with your Rambo and Howie friends. What? Huh? Well, thanks for the $1 tip, Mitch Dyer. I have no idea what the fuck you just said. I mean, what? Okay. And then Hertz tipped me $1, of course, being incredibly sarcastic here, saying, have you ever considered suing Capcom for money owed to you for single-handedly making Street Fighter 4 a success? No, because that's stupid. I never was looking for anything for it. Like I said, for me, as I was playing Capcom fighting games, I wasn't looking for anything but just being my own self and making popular videos for YouTube. I didn't give a shit about Capcom caring or contacting me or giving me early copies or inviting me to their special fucking inviting to, while Justin Wong and all those players were getting fucking Gutex and fucking Mike Ross. We're all getting invited to their special press events and playing the games early. I didn't give a fuck about that. I was never part of the in crowd in the Street Fighter community ever. They never allowed me, and they didn't care about me because I was the outsider. I was the guy who was the whistleblower. I was the guy who spoke truth. I was the guy who heavily criticized the tournament scene. I exposed corruption when I saw it, which multiple times happened, and I kept exposing people for doing fucked up stuff behind the scenes. I was banned from Shoryuken.com at one point because I had concrete evidence that GGPO netcode was not flawless and had a lot of flaws. It dropped inputs. It had a lot of issues. I presented evidence at a time when GGPO was in its early stages, and the Cannon brothers were trying to sell this code to Capcom and other fighting game companies. And they were literally only allowing people on Shoryuken.com to post praise. They criticized and they removed criticism from the site because they said outright, we're trying to sell this and make money, so we don't want any criticism of our product on the site. That's one of the major things, the reasons why I was always hated by the mainstream community, because they were like, oh, we're trying to make it, man, and you're ruining it for us. I'm like, no, I'm just being honest. You know, you're not. And because of that, you don't like me. That was one of the major reasons everyone hated me in the fighting game community. So, anyway, you know, I didn't care that I wasn't the golden boy and I wasn't the chosen one, the special guy. I still don't care to this day. I'm never going to be a part of that community. Okay? Cody Carpenter tipped me $1 for the original SpongeBob game was made by THQ, which is now defunct. What other THQ game do you wish would be remade? I have no idea. I'd have to go back and look at the laundry list of THQ games that I'm sure they made. I have no idea off the top of my head. You know? Sorry. I wish I had that information. I don't. But thank you for the $1 tip. Lucifer Soul cheered, and he said, Last Kiss Ass, unlike most YouTubers I've seen growing up, their best content, regardless of popularity, is behind them. Even AVGN is a victim, not you. I don't know about that. But thanks for the compliment. FGC Edward Snowden tipped me $1 and says, is there any other things that I want to reveal? I could sit here for hours talking about it, but there's no point. It's all old shit. It's water under the bridge. It's like old crap. You know, if you guys want to know the ins and outs of every tournament that I went to that was rigged, I surely could do that for you. But some of this stuff is 20 years old. We're talking B5 at the beginning of the 2000s, old corruption shit. And by the way, those people are now in charge of Evo. But you know, why should anyone care, right? All right. Let us now do some shout-outs. Thank you to the following people who cheered on my stream this week. Crapcock is in 10th place. Ninstar Rune's in 9th. Eternal Napalm is in 8th. Ryan's in 7th. Red Spider-Man is in 6th. Junior Mint and Perky Brianna are tied for 4th. RPG Fans in 3rd. Ladies Man is in 2nd. And Lucifer Soul in 1st place. Thank you for all the cheers this week so far. Thank you to those who gifted subscriptions to the channel this week. Murdoch, R. Zeppi, Chipe, Randy O. Butterno, I Killed Phil, AJ the DJ, and Ghost in the Chat each gifted a single subscription. Big Papa Phil gifted 2 subs. Only Iced Coffee gifted 4, and Lunaba gifted 6. So thank you all for the support of the channel this week. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a brief break. I have to go get the Switch. It's not even in the office. I have to go get the Switch and hook it up, get everything going here. And then it's time for Fire Emblem Three Houses, a fun 3 to 4 hour stream. I hope that you guys are excited. I am. I'm ready for the fun. And thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for the support. Everybody, in particular, Lucifer Soul. Holy crap, that giant tip. I'll be right back. All right, guys? Thanks. I'll see you in a bit.